Okay, Steve, you got the SOT ready? So at the NFL general managers meetings, I guess is the – yeah, and Steve is right. He says Blaine has been on the show before. I was right.
All right, well.
So, Blaine, I know you watch. You're a fan. Don't screw with Bull.
Yeah.
Or whatever
you're
doing.
Not screwing me, but he and some of the other council members are gerrymandering the districts in Cleveland, which we voted against as a state, which is terrible. And that's in the state level, it's Republicans pulling the nonsense. In the city level, it's Democrats pulling nonsense. Both are wrong. Gerrymandering is terrible, whether it's Republicans doing it or Democrats doing it. So stop it.
There you go.
There should be fair maps everywhere. Shouldn't favor either side.
You think they're going to listen?
Well,
Bull's a big platform. You never know.
They're trying to push out. There's one woman who's on the city council. She's new. She actually gives a crap about the people of Cleveland, unlike some of the other council members who are there just to be a council member and not do anything. This woman cares, and they're trying to push her out, and it's nonsense. Shout out my man Mike McIntyre, works for the NPR in Cleveland. He's a good dude, and he's on top of all this stuff. Go ahead, Mike.
All right, back to the topic. So last weekend was the NFL's Accelerator Program, which is where a bunch of assistant GMs from across the league go, and they talk about, I guess, I don't actually know what they do, but it's the NFL's Accelerator Program. All the assistant GMs across the league go there. And Catherine Hickman, the Browns general manager, talked to Ian Rappaport afterwards, and they talked about the program. But then he asked her about the season, and she gave a pretty interesting answer. I want to play this soundbite, and then we'll react. This is Browns assistant general manager Catherine Hickman talking to Ian Rappaport. Steve?
This is not as fun a subject, but obviously it's been a tougher year for the Browns, tougher than I think a lot of people imagined. What are some lessons you've learned from this year in Cleveland?
I think some of the processes we've built and doubling down on those processes and knowing that, of course, in every year you want great outcomes. That's just what we all here to win. We all want to win. Now, I do think some of the things we're establishing are going to be sustainable and are going to create long-term results and sustainable winning results. So I think that's one of the learning is like, okay, how can we continue to build on those, invest in those, and making sure that we tweak them along the ways and not get too, driven or sidetracked sometimes by outcomes that can be really difficult. Like this is National Football League, like there will be tougher years. So staying true to that, I think has been a learning.
I don't know if she's speaking. I'm not saying this because of her accent, but like none of that made any. Did you even understand what the hell she said there?
Yeah, I did.
Let me tell you something.
My question is, and then you go off. You talk about the process.
Yeah.
What is the process? What
nobody wants to hear that. No fans want to hear that. Here's the thing: all the front offices in Cleveland, Browns, Cavs, Guardians. They all go to the same person for me. I'm not making this up. This is true. They go to the same person for media. They all talk the same way. They all talk in that what I like to refer to as modern nerd. And they all say the same things. None of them give you any answers. My man Chris Antonelli, who's very good at his job, went on with Nick Wilson and Jonathan Peterlin yesterday. No answers. He doesn't give any answers. He says the same things. They all do the head nod because that's what they've been taught. They all like to say, she didn't say in this case, but they all like to say interesting question or good question to kind of buddy you up a little bit. And they never give you anything. There's no real answers, never from Berry, never from any of them. I actually will say that Kobe Altman's a little more forthcoming than the others, but they all kind of talk the same way. And it's beyond frustrating. And listen, I ultimately want smart people to run my team. I get it. But when you talk advanced nerd, there's a lot of fans that are like, what the hell are you talking about?
They basically,
it's frustrating.
They sell you on the fact that, and my takeaway from that was, after sitting through countless PowerPoints about people doing the same thing, they're trying to tell you that the outcomes don't matter. She's saying that, listen, when we believe we have a long-term plan, and our long-term plan involves this process that we've come down with.
Yeah.
And even though we don't have the outcomes now, we're willing to double down on things that we are convicted by, even in the short term, if we take L's, if that means the long term is successful.
Right. I don't know that they don't want to win. They just think they know how to win, and it will happen eventually.
They believe that their plan will give us dividends. But the problem with that is this: every team that comes in here, every person that comes in here, and we do a bad job at saying this. We say this all the time. We've been firing people way too early. We've been getting rid of people. Guys didn't have a chance to set up this person. We fire these guys every 3 years. I always ask the question: stop saying in generalities. You tell me the Browns coach that got fired that shouldn't have got fired.
None.
Show me the Browns coach that
the only one you could argue maybe got an unfair thing was Mike Pettin.
But guess what?
But he hasn't done anything since.
Okay, so how many other
Romeo Crennel.
Hold on.
Now, what did Romeo do?
They went 10-6.
And Romeo, and then went to the Chiefs and was garbage.
Let me tell you something. None of the
hey.
Patriots guys can coach because they all think they're Belichick.
So what guys did the Cleveland Browns fire that got another job that balled out?
Nobody.
It has never happened. So when we keep saying we got to give it time, we always go too fast, you're lying. You didn't. They didn't perform here. They never got other jobs. You got the wrong candidate. So now the new team comes in and we say 5 years isn't enough. You know why you say 5 ain't enough? Because you got rid of Hugh Jackson earlier, because you got rid of Pat Shermer earlier. You got rid of Mangini earlier. Now they're selling us on, you know what, 1 winning season in 5 years because you're the Browns. Two.
Yeah.
Because you're the Browns, you should be happy for
Right,
us.
but yeah, absolutely. It was the same thing with Baker, right? It's like he all the arguments. Jay made him yesterday. He won a playoff game. That should be enough. You should be satisfied by that.
Look what we brought you. Because they on the outside, when you're on the outside, they look at us as some sort of poor little charity case.
Yeah, right.
You haven't been good since Jim Brown. So if I come in and give you C work, all of a sudden you should be happy. Why are you complaining about my C?
Right.
I gave you better than what you had before.
Meanwhile, fans of the good teams, if their team, like Yankee fans, lost their mind. Their team went to the World Series and lost their mind.
You go like other teams have the standards that are different.
Yeah.
So and by the way, they're comfortable with giving it because they're like, what are you gonna do? You lost your team. So are you gonna? You're not going to hammer us too much. Like, what are you going to say? Like,
That's right. That's a big part of it. A lot of fans are scared to complain about the Browns too much because they're scarred from what happened when the team got stolen.
Yeah, like
that's a big part of this. I think there's no doubt about it.
When I seen this clip, when McNuggets sent me this clip, it was longer. It was like 2-3 minutes clip.
Right.
When I watched it, the first thing I thought to myself was, I wonder if she does the firing of the players.
Why would you think that?
Well, because everything that was said was pointless. But I thought to myself, as a former player, like when I've been fired 9 times, cut 9 times, so I know you don't really talk to the general manager. It's either the assistant or somebody else.
Yeah.
And I just thought to myself when I was listening to her talk, I was like, I wonder is she the one that tells the players, yeah, we're releasing you?
Maybe. I don't know. I think there's multiple assistant GMs, aren't there? Most cases.
I believe yes. I'll look up the Browns specific.
I just wanted to know.
Yeah.
Because that's like if you like to be a real GM. Like I guess you ain't the one that sometimes, unless it's I guess if you're one of the good players, maybe you talk to the actual GM. But if you're a guy like me, you talk to the assistants.
I don't never like this is the real world. I don't know. Working in a real job, if you had working in a real job, you have evaluation periods. Like you got a mid-year, you got an end of the year. Usually, generally speaking, if you don't meet goals by a mid-year, they put you on an action plan. That action plan is, hey, if you don't raise X, Y, and Z by this time, you're on the track to get you out of here. If you don't hit it afterward, at the end of the year, you're in trouble. And most of the time, if you're an executive and if the revenue goals ain't being met or you don't have hit any of your strategic goals, they're looking to get rid of you and get somebody else. I don't know any other business in the world where you could be 3 in something and failing at your job where there is no urgency. I mean, these people are, they cool as the other side of the pillow, man.
I feel like the Browns talk to us or the fans as if, don't worry, like we're smarter than you. we've got it all figured out. You stay home, you buy your tickets, you drink your beers. We'll take care of the big boy business. They talk down to us, I feel like, and that pisses me off.
And when you do that,
I mean, well, they probably look at it like we're the ones that's educated on it. We literally make our livelihoods on it. So they think that since they're so invested that they would know more than the average fan, which...
Well, of course they do.
Exactly.
Maybe.
So
or
I
maybe
think that's why they think
You think the owner knows more than the average fan? He
No.
just has more information than we do.
hey, man, you could be in that office all day and twice on Sunday. When Deontay Foreman is returning kicks for you, you don't know what you're doing.
It's not unfair.
That you don't like, and that passed 4 to 5 levels.
Right.
All these things have to pass multiple checks before it gets to the field. Think about that. The game plan has to be looked over by DPS or whatever.
Yeah.
The roster. You go over the roster and you're majestic. The gymnastic tricks they do during the season. The Cleveland Browns think they smart because they got a bunch of people that they be waiver wiring. Got this kicker, move this dude. Why would you bring Dustin? Think about this. Dustin Hopkins was not hurt. They brought one kicker, elevated him, played him for a week, and brought Hopkins back. What is that? Can you tell me, McNuggets?
They was hitting the reset button.
What is that?
They was hitting the reset.
They paid him an extension, so they're not going to cut him.
So
that's what it is.
So why don't you let him kick? Get out there and kick.
They felt like he needed a breather.
You need a
He's kicking this week, by the way.
You need a break.
Yeah, we said that.
The other guy got signed.
That's like, do you tell your son?
Yeah.
He had a test last week. He comes to you and say, Dad, man, I bombed that test. They're really bad. And he says, you know what, Aaron? It's okay. No problem. I think you need a breather. Take the whole week off and then take another test.
Well, wait a minute.
What did you think was going on?
Wait a minute. Hold on. Wait a minute. That's not the same thing.
Why isn't it the same?
Some people take it more sports related. Like
I don't know.
I need a week off. Like
No,
to hit
you
the
don't.
reset button.
Your
And then
kids
you come
don't
back
get.
and boom,
Your
you ready.
kids don't get weeks off. You take the test Friday.
These ain't kids.
Guess what? You should be a grown man. You should understand it more and be more mentally prepared.
What you know what? You know what? I better see y'all on this panel every goddamn day then, if that's the case. What y'all taking weeks off for?
Hey, I would be on here.
What you talking about?
I
Why
would
you be
be on
taking?
here.
What y'all taking weeks and vacations for?
By the
Why do
way,
you
because
need
it's healthy for adults to
So
take a break.
then
That's what
Dustin needed a week off.
That's
Then
what
what are you talking about?
I take vacations.
I don't know.
during
I
the
don't
season.
like-
You need to sit down.
Who took a
I got no
vacation
problem
during the
with that.
season?
Jay Crawford?
Well, that's Jay.
Jay's playing in his own ballpark.
Jay was at the architect meeting.
Jay
What are you
Jay
talking
lives
about?
in his own
Anthony
realm.
Cantaspelli?
Technically, I am. 'Cause
Mike
I'm
did.
going to be off
I
from
did.
Christmas Day to New
What?
Year's Day.
Okay, yeah.
Mike, you went to you was just gone like 3 weeks ago.
No.
I missed one day. That's not a vacation.
Hey, listen.
I actually
I just wanted to be known.
I don't have a problem
I'm glad.
with Hopkins.
I'm glad.
Technically on the
I
panel.
know you don't.
Technically on the panel, I've done the most days all time. That's a fact.
Is that true?
That
Is
Yeah.
that true?
Yes.
You got me beat?
He
Yes,
does.
I do. And it don't look like it because I come like 4.5 seconds later and then
What
you
difference
know,
does it make?
because it's just
All I'm saying is
I think it's close.
you want to
between
take
me and G, no?
vacations.
No,
No.
he did 5 days when you were doing
That
3.
first summer.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right.
It's not close.
Put in my time here.
but here's all I'm saying though. That when you say we're smarter than everybody, that move to me is like laughable. Like instead of you being like, no, you're gonna come to practice, you're gonna work through it, and we're gonna kick field goals and hit them. You say, let me go get another dude, give him a week off, get rid of that dude, and then bring back the other
but
kicker.
G,
Come
listen,
on, come
there's
on.
sometimes it's mental hurdles you got to get over. I don't think there's anything wrong with that.
No, that's called being not mentally tough. The Steelers don't do that. No team does that. Can you imagine Mike Tomlin saying, I need a week off, dog? What the heck? What?
Well, I don't know if the player said it. Maybe the team decided he
The
needed a week off.
Steelers don't give weeks off. They even practice full pads on Friday.
No, they don't.
I don't know. It's one. I don't think that's. I don't think
Nobody
it's a big deal.
practice
See, no,
full
here's the
pads
thing.
on
Here's the
Friday.
thing.
Yeah.
When you're 3-11, we always talk about, oh, that's a small thing.
Yeah.
Everything's a small. Nobody else is saying that. Guess what? Listen, I made a business decision.
And on top of that, we in week 16? There's no way they
but
practice
Tyvis,
full pads on Friday.
These small little things with the
You
Browns.
only get
keep adding
12
up.
padded practices.
You give the kicker a week off. The tackle is talking about it's a business.
They wasn't
decision.
gonna. What they gonna do? Cut the man?
Gee, I think you've given a pass to guys for missing OTAs, haven't you?
This is the season, though, man.
G. Bush.
Part of preparing
So you
for
want
the
him to
season's
keep
over, though.
kicking and keep missing?
Yes, I want him to go play unless you have something.
Because this is what's going on. He's in practice nailing them all in the game, and then he gets to the game and misses them.
At the end of the day.
So we're going to keep missing them?
So here's the thing.
Let's just keep losing games. Just keep letting them miss.
So here's what we do.
It makes no sense.
So just like the front office, we keep losing games. We keep being 3-11. So now they get, hey, you know what? It's not that bad. 3-11 ain't that bad. Let's go into next season and do the same thing. They just told you they doubling down. So let's
double down on their process.
Yeah, they process. So that means
is.
next year, Tyvis, that they're going to still run their soft camp and nobody's going to play in practice.
So then when March come around, you better make sure that you still.
But I want everybody at OTAs.
So they've told me
when March come around, you, Jay, and Earl better be on the same page.
I'm on the same time. I'm on the same time. Look, they fooled us.
He gonna see that draft. They gonna get Travis Hunter somewhere. He gonna say, you know what?
Listen, that's all bets are off. All bets are off.
Okay, now
you give me Travis Hunter.
I want Deshaun Watson not eating dinner out. I'm now mad about Deshaun eating dinner with his girlfriend.
Now they want to trade.
Yeah.
They want to trade different things they want. Jason gonna want Myles Garrett at OTA.
Yes.
He said no more Deshaun Watson.
No more Deshaun having dinner with his girl in the nightgown.
Y'all sad.